Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. Oh, I am. I knew I was going to need a little bit of extra rest this morning. I was up a little bit late working on some video editing stuff. So, that's why I wanted to do just a little bit later this morning, knowing that I'd probably sleep in, which yeah, not so much. Didn't happen. But, I got some things done this morning that need to be taken care of, which is always a good thing. Mm, coffee is the nectar of the gods early in the morning like this. Let's see what we got going on with you fine folks. Hey Jade, how you doing? How you doing, JW? Good to see you, man. Hey, hey Marshall. Oh yes, beautiful morning, JW. JD, jeez, I'm just trying to get my tongue working this morning. Some ladies might like that. Hey Patrick, how you doing? Aussie just Jen. Nice. Good to see you. Good to see you. Melanie Beeman. Ah, yes, Melanie. Good morning. Good morning. It is a beautiful day. Hey, Star Z. Glad you could make it in. Yeah. There was lots of storms last night. We were trying to keep track of a little bit of those with Mo, seeing what was going on, around the weatherways. It was looking pretty rough out there. So it's today is going to be an interesting day of what we can actually talk about, because well, they don't want you talking about anything that's happening, and it becomes one of those where they will suppress your voice on a lot of the things that I pull up that are showing up in the news. Not to glorify any things that are going on. The first 10 minutes of this whole show is going to be things that YouTube doesn't deem appropriate, and they will probably give me a nice little no, you can't say that. So I'll have to couch my words very carefully here, of course, because this is going to entail a little bit of tragedy and not happy things. Good to see you, Terry Ham and Daniel Burry Sports Highlights. Morning. It is going well. Yes. Well, here we go. First interesting story. Whenever I first read this, it was very confusing to me until I read to the very end, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. It's one of those that suckered me in, and so I had to. It's this one right here. So it says a woman who fell from the stands to be deleted during a graduation ceremony at Ohio State University last weekend has been identified as a woman whose daughter was receiving a diploma. Now, whenever I first read this, I was just like, okay. It wasn't until I got to the second chapter that it talks about she self-inflicted. There you go. And which is pretty tragic because she fell a pretty good distance. And it happened during the commencement ceremony. That's pretty bad. Not a happy day for anybody. So don't do this. There you go. Don't do this. Call somebody. Get some help. There you go. That's wow. News can be very difficult to read whenever you have things like this. Oh boy. Okay. So of course, we have to talk about the shenanigans here. So this is what's going on inside the courtroom where the Stormy McDaniels is talking about her. Trump was forced to listen to Stormy Daniels. Well, more. Donald Trump squirmed and scowled, shook his head, muttered as Stormy Daniels described the unexpected schmexy she had nearly 2 decades ago. trying to think of anything other than what was happening. It was story Daniels has told before. This time, Trump had no choice but to sit and listen. Years in the making, the in-person showdown between these two has been happening. It's one of his nemesis. This is so. Without hearing the testimony, don't know anything about it. What does it matter? Absolutely none. Because it is one of those BS stories that we've heard time and time again. And I'm sure that the story has been elaborated time and time again. As she testifies, Daniel spoke confidently and at a rapid clip. The sound of reporters typing reaching a frantic tempo. She spoke so quickly at least 6 times during testimony. She was asked to slow down so her court stenographer could keep pace. Well, it might be all the drugs she's on. I don't know. One juror smiled when Daniels mentioned one of the ways into the industry was by winning a contest like Miss Nude North America. Another juror's eyes widened as she read along the monitor displaying a Truth Social post in which Trump said he did nothing wrong and used an insulting nickname to disparage Daniels' looks. So what does this have to do with money? Well, it didn't have anything to do with money. It's all assault on his character. Oh no, she's claiming it was grape. That's what she's claiming. That's what she's claiming. Guided by prosecutors, Daniels drew a detailed scene of her alleged evening with Trump at a hotel in Lake Tahoe in 2006, delving frankly into details that the judge, Merchant, would later concede should probably have been left unsaid because they bore no relevance to this case and it prejudiced the jury, which leaves it open for appeal. That's why. It's all about the money. People just want fame and money. So she recalls all this bull garbage that I don't believe for 1 second. Because, of course, she did digging in when defense lawyer Susan Nichols questioned her credibility and motives. Of course, they spent just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 paragraphs having nothing to do with anything except for details of this. That goes into what he was dressed in, what he was doing, her willingness to provide extra detail. At a usual moment, Trump lawyers consented to allowing prosecutor to meet with Daniels in a side room during a break. In a testimony, give her some instructions to, as Judge Merchant put it, make sure the witness stays focused on the question, gives the answer, and does not give any unnecessary narrative. Out of the earshot of the jury or reporters in the room, Merchant also asked Trump lawyers to stop him from cursing as Daniels spoke. I understand that your client is upset at this point, but he's cursing audibly and he's shaking his head visually, and that is contemptuous. Dude, what do you want him to do if dude is being lied about? Thank you. Thank you, Volstorm. I appreciate it. I mean, and it goes on. Daniels forcefully denied Nichols' suggestion that she had tried to extort Trump. She did. Multiple times. And Avenatti even was in on it. It just, they went through all of this. And it is nothing in here that isn't just a bunch of garbage. because I'm looking and it's all about talking about Trump, all about talking about all the things that he did. Like, I'm just looking down through this. Daniels denied initial suggestion that she tried, and then that's it. That's it. Like, all it does is talk crap about Trump the whole time. Like, really? What were the questions that were asked? What were the things that were used to discredit her? What were the lies that were brought out about her talking about? See, I don't trust the AP. Whenever they say this kind of crap, it's hard to believe if they're even telling the truth. And if you think that's one of them, it just goes to every single news story that you can find on this is almost like they're regurgitating the same crap. I mean, how do you want me to take this stuff? If you're going to report on it, why not report on it? I mean, you can see up here at the top of the page that's the story. You got Stormy Daniels, Israel Hamas war, Oklahoma tornadoes, Italian surfers, and Victoria Sparts wins, or Victoria Sparts. I don't know what the hell that is. These are the things that they show. That's it. There's nothing really important there. Whenever you break it down, it's just, oh great, we're going to talk crap about Trump for what? An entire story is nothing but the things that they asked about Trump. Just, I don't get it. So I found a different news story that was interesting. Cops used bulldozers to remove pro-Palestine protesters at Amsterdam University. Student protests see, there it goes again. I don't trust you whenever you start changing the narrative. Student protests against Israel's assault on Gaza. But yet they don't talk anything about the attack on Israel. Or what spurred this on. I mean, it might be a cliff note in there because, well, I guess we do have to talk about that. New Delhi, Netherlands. Authorities on Tuesday arrested more than 120 people and used a bulldozer to move a bunch of little bitches from the University of Amsterdam. The demonstration, similar to the protests that started on U.S. campuses against, see, there it is again, Israel's war on Gaza. News. How can you like, instead of just reporting the news, it has to be this bullshit that you read. Instead of saying another stupid war in the Middle East funded by your tax dollars. The police used batons against protesters after they blocked off some roads to the university. Good. Protests in this form created a very unsafe situation, partially due to barricades that prevented emergency services from entering the site in the event of a disaster. The activists themselves could possibly become stuck on the site. Well, hopefully they do. And here you go. This is what happened. You want to see what happens? Oh, look. She might have taken a little baton to the head. Really sucks. Really sucks. I feel bad for her because she's getting duped. They just need to address the facts of the case and not the smut of the case. This could have been done in an hour or two at the most if it was about the hush money, not the size of his willy. Oh, yeah. No, she had to go into details, make it appalling, make him sound like he's done all of these horrible things. It's a sympathy cast. It's garbage. That's why I haven't been able to find a decent story about what actually happened inside what are the questions that were asked or spoken of. And more than likely, most of those documents will end up being sealed because that's what happens. They just cannot. Oh, so this is something he wrote about in Truth Social. Who cares? Who cares what he said in Truth Social? Who cares about what he said in Truth Social? Nobody cares. I close that. Close that. Well, it looks like Regeneron's experimental gene therapy improves hearing in one patient. Oh, wonderful. This investigational gene therapy improved hearing in normal levels in child 24 weeks. Early mid-age study. Great. They're going to bring some more drugs in. Wonderful. Makes me so happy. Because AstraZeneca says it will withdraw its COOF vaccine globally as demand dips. Wonderful. It's no longer being manufactured or shipped. Yeah. Sorry. It's one of those mornings where I just really hate the news. There we go. London. Britain's Financial Conduct Authority should focus on its core of keeping markets orderly and not sending wrong signals to investors when naming and shaming proposals. UK Services Minister Bim Ofalami said on Wednesday. Man, it's just one of those mornings. UK Financial Services Minister, the FCA has faced widespread backlash against its proposals to name companies in its investigating early on in a bid to increase deterrence rather than after a probe has been concluded. Yeah, probe them more. It has also been proposed additional reporting requirements on firms to improve diversity amongst employees. Already, I don't even want to read Reuters. I see no reason to continue on with Reuters because it's as soon as I hear this crap, requirements on firms to improve diversity. What the fuck is diversity? It has nothing to do with talent or skill. The FCC also has new secondary remit to aid the financial sector's global competitiveness. But critics, including the finance ministry, says the naming and shaming proposals appear at odds with this by piling on unnecessary red tape. Yet think the signal to international investors and to people in this country is that regulators still doesn't get it. When they say they don't have resources sometimes to deal with things, I say stop focusing on things that are non-core like naming and shaming or this diversity consultation and focus on conduct and making sure the system works properly for consumers and products. This is what it leads to. This is what your diversity leads to. I think they give two shits whether what the color of your skin is or who's, weeing you're doing whatever to with however you're eating the bearded clam. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Customers, if you're a customer and you really care what the what the race is of your child slave that's putting your sneakers together, then what kind of human are you? Ofalami says regulators need to accept a greater level of risk in the system to allow for innovation, but progress has been mixed. No shit, Sherlock. The FCA is independent of government, but it is accountable to Parliament, and its top officials will appear before the Parliament's Treasury Select Committee on later on Wednesday to be questioned about the naming and shaming proposals. Ofalami said there was no danger in politicizing regulators given they operate under the umbrella of Parliament, are not independent in the same way as judges, meaning it was legitimate to ask them to think again on some proposals. FCA will issue a report on how it is applied to new competitiveness objective. Well, what do you think? Do you care? Do you care if your child slave that's making your shoes is a boy or a girl? Do you really care? Do you really care whether your t-shirts being made by Asian or African? Does it matter to you? Do you really care? Does it really matter? Does that really ring well with you? I mean, people are still wearing face diapers, for Christ's sakes. Look, still wearing face diapers. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, what are they expecting from us? Yeah, more of the same garbage, of course. We'll close that. See what I mean? Israel, war in Gaza. It's Israel's fault that there's crap happening in the Middle East. What about Iran firing rockets? What about Hamas firing rockets into public areas? That's not talked about. You bring it up, and of course YouTube wants to. Thanks. I appreciate it. It's just one of those mornings where I just want to turn off the news and not listen to anything that news has going on for the day. Did I wake up on the wrong side of the bed? No, I'm just enjoying my coffee. Those glorious coffee beans. The U.S. is due to render a first of its kind verdict, facing heat over its military support for. Oh, it's Israel's war. Oh, okay. Thank you, AP. You made it very clear how you stand with Israel. Israel's war, huh? Israel's war. Interesting thought. Interesting thought that it's Israel's war. So how about we ask these people? Here, I'll mute it so we don't have to get struck for the music. But Manhattan, New York, do you recognize any of these people? No, I don't recognize anyone. No, all of these things, all of these people have one thing in common. Look at all those fine folks right there. You know what that is? Besides the fact that they're all American citizens, do you know that one thing they have in common is? You let me know. You tell me. Got my blue hair, got my pro-Palestine scarf on. I'm asking you. I don't know. Tell me. No, I have no clue. No, I didn't notice anything. Do you know that right now there are Americans that were kidnapped? They're currently being held hostage. And they're saying no. By Gaza, by terrorists. Who is taking them? They were taken hostage by Hamas. On October 7th, from Israel, they were taken hostage. And they've been there since October 7th. Do you know that there's decades-long occupation, of course, is what they have to say from there. And those are innocent people. Americans, don't they deserve to come home? And what does they say? Enough America. Oh no, they're being held hostage. It's something that they don't like to hear. Do I think that what's going on over there is good one way or the other? No, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good at all. But it's the same way that I don't think this is good. Right here.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges. Young black.
Yeah. Governor Hochul let them know how she really feels. Yes. I do have a question. Why any sane American would go to a place like Gaza? But hey, that's just me. Because they're pro-Palestinian. They were there to support Hamas. They were there showing solidarity. What, you think all these people with the blue hairs and the little scarves and all that doing all these protests, if you sent them over there, how do you think Hamas would treat them? How do you think they would be treated? Do you think that they would appreciate that, you know, there's the what is it, the Gays for Palestine? Do you think that how many do you see signing up to go help? The way that they're helping is by protesting. They're for the people that would have them removed permanently. That's why these people are there. It's not his job to pay for it. Yeah. Good morning. Yeah, that video is disgusting. Yep. New York governor probably thinks black people aren't smart enough to get an ID. Yes. Yes. That is one of the things. And I've been trying to, and luckily I talked with Mo the other day because she said something that, and I was looking for the word that really puts it into context. The way that I feel about the Democrat Party, about news, about people like Hochul, that they take away agency. They take away agency of each individual human being whenever they say things like, you know, we got the darkies in the Bronx that'll never know what a computer is. So you're saying they have no agency? And women, you have no agency to make a decision. You gotta have the government do it for you. The gays have no agency. You gotta have the government do it for you. Government has taken away agency of humans and left them irresponsible. Like this guy.
No, fuck off.
I've called the police. I've called the police.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I've called the police. They'll be here. Yeah, all right. Oh, yeah, you think you're a tough man, do you? Ugh. Hey, yeah. Okay. All right, calm down. Calm down. It's a bike. Why are you doing this? Why'd you do this? What do you mean it's your job? How much are you getting for that bike when you sell it for your drugs?
Steal from the fucking rich people, all fuck off.
Whoa, why are you, Robin Hood? We are poor. We live in a council house, you stupid idiot.
Lock it or lose, innit?
It's my house.
Lock it or fucking
This is
lose
my
it.
house. It is locked.
Yes.
Look at you. Big tough man with his little bloody Stanley blade. Yeah, okay. Now just... You little toe rag, look at you. Who brought you up? What mother's yours? She needs to go away in prison, bringing you up, little thug. Look at ya, little toe rag. Look at ya. You can't even get out. You didn't rob a garden. I've rang the police anyway. They're coming.
Only people had a
Police are
deterrent.
coming. The police are coming.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Okay. Calm down. You're gonna go to prison for 30 years for that. Are you? For a bike?
He throws down the knife.
Is that what you're gonna do? Oh, now you're escaping, are you? Big tough man. Oh, look at you, big tough man. That's it, just break my fence, do some more damage.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Look at you little thug. Yeah, go on then. Go on then. Not so tough now, are you, little boy?
Nothing like being taunted. Nothing like being taunted mercilessly as you're trying to steal a bicycle out of someone's backyard. Well, his favorite word is F. Governor should pay for it if she makes people of color acting like a monkey was sick, and that governor should be booted and then made to live in those neighborhoods. No, he was doing that on purpose. He was making fun of the way that she was talking about black people. She should have hit him harder. Should have hit him a hell of a lot harder is what she should have done. Would you want to see something amazing? I will show you something absolutely amazing. You'll never catch me doing this, ever.
Jumpers are away, jumpers are
They're
away.
off.
You'll understand here in a minute why you'll never see me doing it. 25.
Now he's practicing the flip.
1,000
That's how he'll
feet.
have to land. He'll have to land on his back. At 18,000 feet, the oxygen mask will come off. That will be from his cousin, Andy Farrington, who will be closest to him.
Oh, yeah.
There goes the oxygen mask. Now at 12,000
So
feet,
he's
he'll hear a
taken
beep
off.
in his helmet. That will tell him he's halfway home.
So he has dove out of an airplane, skydiving. He was up so high that he had to have an oxygen mask so he could breathe because the air is so thin at 25,000 feet. That altitude is really damn high. And he's doing this without a parachute. He's making a jump at 25,000 feet without a parachute. stomach and throat right now. Yep. Never, ever, never, 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 ever, ever. Yeah. It's reaching back there. There's no parachute, buddy.
Momentarily, we'll see his jump team pull their chutes, and that means
No
Luke
wings. No parachute.
is all alone for the rest of the way.
No nothing.
At 6,000 feet, he'll get another beep in his helmet.
There ain't no slowing down. Nope.
There goes the chutes. Luke is on his own. And the crowd on the ground looking up, they have a visual on him right now.
Oh, yeah. Nope. Nope. What do you think happens?
He's in! And he's kicking and moving. From here, it looked perfect. You've just witnessed history being made.
Yep. Yeah, he survived. Yes, he survived. That is still a whole lot of nope. Nope, didn't break a single thing. Yeah. You're playing it, it wasn't scrubbed. That's crazy. Yes. I 100% agree. That is crazy. Buff just comes with like Wile E. Coyote hits the cannon floor. Yeah. It amazes me when something goes wrong. Oh, but at least he did what he did because he was loving it. Yeah, it's still a big note. Again, why? Just to break a record, I guess. Okay, that guy's a wackadoodle. Yes. 100% agree. No. This is not something you do. This is not something you do. Okay, how many of you folks are on a phone? How many of you folks are on a phone? Okay, lock your screen. If you're on a phone, lock your screen. And so you can turn it and me upside down. So, and if you can't, then just, turn your monitor upside down. Just for this next one. There we go. Yeah, just turn your monitor upside down. It will amaze you. Mm-hmm. Crazy, huh? I thought you'd like that. There we go. Oh. Yeah, this here's one of a woman that she hired a private detective thinking that her boyfriend is cheating on her. Yeah. You found a picture of Hades. Okay, that's cool. Yes. Yes. So this girl is thinking that her boyfriend is cheating on her. And so she hires a private detective to watch. This is what they find. No cheating, just eating all by himself. That's it. Woman was completely paranoid. Completely paranoid that he's doing something wrong. Nope. Just sitting there eating. That's it. Sometimes women think that guys are doing some of the most nefarious things whenever they're not. They're just being. Let's see if we've got any noise with this. Okay, so here is a 1950. If Terminator would have been made in the 1950s. If Terminator would have been made in the 1950s, that's what this is going to be. If Terminator was made in the 1950s. There you go. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, this is pretty badass. If it was made in the 1950s. I'd watch that. Yeah. The Terminator. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'd watch that in a heartbeat. I saw something really cool. And this is done by the Babylon Bee. So this one is brought to you by the Babylon Bee. Thank you very much, Babylon Bee, because I didn't want to watch too much news today. It's all bullshit. So here we go. We got.
If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn it off with the other also. Unless they're a Republican. Then you can feel free to punch them in the face. Let the children come unto me, and do not hinder them, unless they might be born into poverty, or they might be an inconvenience to your party lifestyle. In that case, feel free to murder them in the womb. Haven't you read that in the beginning, God created them male and female, and genderqueer, femboy, trans man, trans woman, two-spirit. You have heard that it was said, hate your enemies. But I say to you, this is correct. And here's a handy little chart to help you understand who your enemy is, based on Marxist intersectionality theory.
As the Lord was setting out on a journey, a certain young man approached him.
Oh, my lord, what must I do to be saved? Be less white.
Also, the Trump Bible is hilarious. Damn right. Love me some Babylon Bee. I love those old cars. They had so much character. Yeah, they've taken away the character in the cars.
But the man went away sad, for he was very white.
My lord, if you had been here, my brother Lazarus would not have died.
Do not be afraid. For Lazarus will live again through this mail-in ballot.
Lazarus will live again through this ballot.
By gender, non-binary, demi-boy, omnigender, pangender, xenogender, someone who identifies as a large ornate building. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except by reducing their carbon footprint and getting vaccinated 12 times. Like me. Cancel your enemies. Curse those who bless you. And burn down the whole country if you don't get your way. Tater-tot gender, ghost boy, tri-spirit, weather gender, transfemme, polyfluid, dolphin man, yodel boy, goomba sexual.
It's a miracle. Jesus has multiplied the fish and the loaves.
No, my son. I've merely stolen it from that village over there. It's called wealth redistribution. Pretty sweet, huh?
Nice.
Would you like to be healed, my son?
Yes, of course, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you.
Then fear not. For I have supported a new healthcare bill that will force you to buy insurance. Because I am a good person. By this, they will know that you are my disciples. If you have one of these yard signs, or you wear a Ukraine pin, or you put one of these human rights campaign stickers on your camel. Here, take one.
Here, take one.
Super sticky.
Super sticky.
The poor you will always have with you. This is because of capitalism.
Capitalism. Yeah.
The rich. Eat 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 the rich. Infiniqueer.
He's still
Barista
going
queer.
on.
Cocaine bear gender. Marvel sexual. Hyper queer. Hedgehog brony. And last but not least, bi-curious demigokin.
What about Shrek gendered?
Oh, yes. Shrek gendered too, yeah. Whatever you guys want. Make them all up. It's fine.
The church is under attack. Marxist ideology and wokeism are attempting to hijack the gospel message and lead many astray. That's why you need woke Jesus, the false messiah destroying Christianity.
You forgot the ideas furniture. Hammer matches. I like you like.
By best-selling author Lucas Miles. In this groundbreaking book, Pastor Lucas Miles exposes the dangerous distortion of Jesus by the progressive left. Get your copy now at lucasmiles.org/B. That's lucasmiles.org/BEE. And discover the truth behind the false narrative shaping our pulpits.
Nice. I love it. I needed to laugh. Because there's more news. There's always more news. Some good news. I do have some good news. Here we go. So what we've got here: Mexico tightens travel rules on Peruvians in a show of visa diplomacy to slow illegals coming to the U.S. Boulevard, California, Julia Paredes believes her move to the United States might be now or never. Mexico was days away from requiring visas for Peruvian visitors. If she didn't act quickly, she would have to make far more perilous, circuitous journey over land to settle with her sister in Dallas. Well, this Mexico, they begin requiring visas for Peruvians on Monday in response to a major influx of illegals from the South American country. After identical moves for Venezuelans, Ecuadorians, and Brazilians, it effectively eliminated the option of flying to a Mexican city near a U.S. border, as Paredes 45 did just before it was too late. I had to treat it like an emergency, said Paredes, who was working serving lunch to miners in Arepeco or something like that, some little town in Peru, and borrowed money to fly to Mexico's Tijuana. Across from San Diego last month, smugglers guided her through a remote opening in a border wall to a dirt lot in California, where she and about 100 illegals from around the world shivered over campfires after a morning drizzle. We call that urination. And waited for overwhelmed Border Patrol agents to drive them to a station for processing. Amazing. One of your color pages got tagged to CNN and Fox News. I love it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Shivered in California. Okay. Well, it was raining. They were shivering. Oh. So I don't understand why she had to treat it as an emergency crossing the border illegally. Oh, so she's getting flights. And you know that in Texas they're fighting with the law, or I believe it's a Supreme Court or some crap like that, over a law that they passed in that anybody aiding them, bringing them across the border, if they are caught, they will be spending 5 years in prison. And I say make the prison just as dirty as you possibly can and not a happy place that you want to be. And make them work building the wall. That's what I think. I mean, that sounds like a good punishment to me. You want to defy it? Well, now you got to build it. Wonderful. But I don't understand why she's waiting for Border Patrol agents to drive them to a station for processing. Nope. Senior U.S. officials speaking to reporters ahead of the meeting of top dorks from about 20 countries in the Western Hemisphere. What does this have to do with anything? Applauded Mexico crackdown on air travel from Peru and called visa requirements an important tool to jointly confront illegals. For critics, shutting down air travel only encourages more dangerous choices. Illegal aliens coming from Venezuela plummeted after Mexico imposed visa requirements in January of 2022, but the lull was short-lived. Last year, Venezuelans made up nearly 2/3 of the record high 520,000 illegals who walked through the Darien Gap, the notorious jungle spanning parts of Panama and Colombia. More than 25,000 traversed the Darien last year. Wait, how did 25,000 Chinese end up going through Darien? Well, because normally they fly to Ecuador, a country known for few travel restrictions, and cross the border illegally in San Diego. And why do they do this? Well, because they're seeking asylum. But if you're seeking asylum, you don't have to cross the border there. All you have to do is you can cross the border anywhere. You could just, walk up to Border Patrol and say that you're seeking asylum. Oh, that's right. That's right. Because it takes forever to get you processed through, and they would turn you away. Why would you bother when Biden will fly them in for free? Of course. With an immigration court backlog topping 3 million cases. Well, tell me, if there's only a few hundred that are coming across the border, then why do they have 3 million backlog cases? So they've got 3 million that they process, and they're backlogged. Go figure. But what Biden wants to do is he wants to spend a few billion, just a few, because, you know, a couple $100 billion going to Ukraine is more important than handling what's going on in the U.S. And they're backlogged, but they want to process more people through to backlog them even more. It takes years to decide such claims, during which time people can obtain work permits and establish roots. You know, the quickest way to plant a root, or, you know, get a plant to, you know, establish roots, is first you have to break open the seed. And then if you ram it really far into the dirt, just really, really far into the dirt, and give it enough water, it'll establish roots. And I hear that it's very, you know, need a lot of water in Mexico. Just a thought. People are going to come no matter what. Oh, let's say it in their voice. Well, people are going to come no matter what, said Miguel Yanarga, 22 years old, who flew from Lima, Peru's capital, to Tijuana and was released by Border Patrol Sunday at a San Diego bus stop. He had to appear in immigration court in New York in February. Why? He came in San Diego. So why is he going to an immigration court in New York? But that's going to be in February 2025, which puzzled him because he said he told agents he would settle with his sister on the other side of the country in Bakersfield, California. Jeremy McGillivray, deputy chief in the Mexico mission of the UN's International Organization for Migration, predicts that Peruvian migration will drop at least at the beginning and bounce back as people shift to walking through the Darien Gap into central Mexico and Central America. Mexico said last month it would require visas for Peruvians for the first time since 2012 in response to a substantial increase in illegal activity. Large-scale Peruvian migration to Mexico began in 2022. Weird how that would happen. Peruvians were stopped in the country an average of 2,160 times a month from January to March this year. But it's only up from a monthly average of 544 times for all of 2023. Peruvians also began showing up the U.S. border in 2022. Can't figure out how they got there. U.S. Border Patrol arrested the Peruvians an average about 5,300 times a month last year before falling to an average of 3,400 from January through March amid a broad immigration crackdown by Mexico. Peruvian immediately reciprocated Mexico's visa requirements, but changed course after a backlash from the country's tourism industry. Peru noted in its reversal that it is part of a regional economic bloc that includes Mexico, Chile, and Colombia. Adam Isaacson, an analyst at the Washington office on Latin America, which who gives two shits what he thinks, said Peru's membership with Mexico in the Pacific Alliance allowed its citizens visa-free travel longer than other countries. It is unclear if Colombia, also a major source of illegals, will be next. But Isaacs said, well, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador is in a love fest with his Colombian counterpart, Gustavo Petro, while his relations with Peru's government are more strained. Colombians are constantly near the top nationalities of illegals arriving at Tijuana's airport. Many find hotels before a guide takes them to a boulder-strewn mountains east of the city, where they cross through the openings in the border wall and then walk towards dirt lots that the Border Patrol guides them to as waiting stations. Brian Ramirez, 25, of Colombia, reached U.S. soil with his girlfriend last month only 2 days after leaving Bogota for Cancun, Mexico, and continuing on another flight to Tijuana. He awaited alongside others overnight for Border Patrol agents to pick him up as cold rain and high winds whipped over the crackle of high voltage power lines. Well, this little group, they waited near Boulevard, a small, loosely defined rural town, included several Peruvians who said they came for economic opportunity and escape violence and a political crisis. Well, these Peruvians can still avoid the Darien jungle by flying to El Salvador, which introduced visa-free travel for them in December in reciprocation for a similar move by Peru's government. But they still have to travel overland through Mexico, where many are robbed or kidnapped. Well, the Ecuadorians who need visas to enter Mexico since September of 2021 can also fly to El Salvador, but not all do. Oscar Placentis, 42, said he walked through Darien because he couldn't afford to fly. Palacios, who left his wife and 1-year-old child in Ecuador with plans to support them financially from the U.S., said it took him 2 weeks to travel from his home near the violent city of Esmeralda to Mexico's border with Guatemala. It then took him 2 months to cross Mexico because immigration authorities turned him around 3 times and bussed him back to the southern part of the country. He said he was robbed repeatedly. Palacios finally reached Tijuana, and after 3 nights in a hotel, crossed into the USA Border Patrol. Agents spotted him with more illegals from Turkey and Brazil and drove them to the dirt lot to wait for a van or a bus to take them to a station for processing. Looking back on the journey, Placentis said he would rather cross the Darien Gap 100 times than Mexico even once. Why is there a boat to give aid to all Chinese men that make it across the Darien Gap? They also resupply them. Yeah. At 1,400 immigrants a day, that's 500,000 new people a year. Oh, and these are the only ones that you know about. This is the only ones that you know about. To give them a walk to New York. Yeah, time to walk to New York, I guess. All Biden's red line, it's 2 million new people that are living on government assistance that you pay for. Congrats. Finally read it correctly. Mexican president not on the cartel's playlist. How dare you? Angry climate sounds. Yeah. Speaking of climate sounds, here we have storms battering the Midwest bring tornadoes, hail, and strong winds. Severe storms continue to barrel through Midwest early Wednesday, unleashing a curtain of heavy rain, gusty winds, and tornadoes that forecasts warned could spill out of the region like a bowl full of water. The tornadoes were first spotted. That means they were seen after dark Tuesday in parts of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. While portions of Illinois, Kentucky, and Missouri were also under tornado watch, and this is what we like to call Tornado Alley or the Midwest. As the storms raged on in the pre-dawn hours of Wednesday, the National Weather Service in Pittsburgh warned that a tornado in northeastern Ohio could cross into Pennsylvania, probably around Palestine, somewhere around there. Mexican president not on the cartel playlist. Yeah. Hours earlier in southwestern Michigan, 2 tornadoes blitzed the city of Portage near Kalamazoo on Tuesday night, destroying homes, commercial buildings, including a FedEx facility that was ripped apart. So if you were expecting any shipments from that FedEx, it is somewhere in Ohio, possibly Pennsylvania, maybe Michigan. It's there somewhere. FedEx is doing what they can to replace it, but yeah. Just hope it wasn't anything important. Hours earlier, there were no serious injuries immediately reported, but city officials said in a news release that the twisters knocked out power to more than 20,000 people. Most of them would be without power until late Wednesday. From what I understand, there were a few deaths in this. At one point, about 50 people were trapped inside the FedEx facility because of down power lines, but company spokesperson Shannon Davis said late Tuesday that all team members were safe and accounted for. Tuesday's storms came after a day after parts of central United States were battered by heavy rain, strong winds, hail, and twisters. Both the plains and Midwest have been hammered by tornadoes this spring. On Monday night, a deadly twister in Oklahoma tore through a small 1,000-person town of Barnesdale. At least one person was deleted, another one was missing as they flew through the wind with the greatest of ease. Dozens of homes were destroyed. Aerial videos showed homes reduced to piles of rubble and others with roofs torn off. The twister tossed vehicles down power lines and stripped limbs and bark from trees across the town. 150-acre or 65-hectare wax manufacturing facility in the community also sustained heavy damage. So if you're wanting your candles, the prices are going to go up. Oh, God. Tornado talk. Okay. Yes. Before Monday night's powerful tornado touchdown, the National Weather Service had warned a large and life-threatening tornado north of Tulsa was headed towards Barnesdale and nearby town of Bartlesville. At the Hampton Inn at Bartlesville, several splintered 2x4s were driven into the south side of the building. Chunks of insulation, twisted metal, and other debris were scattered over the hotel's lawn, and vehicles in the parking lot were heavily damaged with blown-out windows. Hotel guest Matthew Macedo said he was ushered into a laundry room to wait out the storm. An impact occurred. It was incredibly sudden, he said. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt, who toured the twister's damage on Tuesday, said it was rated by weather researchers as a violent tornado with winds reaching up to 200 miles an hour. Stitt said he and legislative leaders have agreed to set aside $45 million in this year's budget to help storm-damaged communities. Yeah, Oklahoma are resilient, Stitt said, and we're going to rebuild. Areas in Oklahoma included Sulphur and Holdenville and are still recovering from a tornado that killed 4 and left thousands without power late last month. Powerful storms came amid a wild swing in severe weather across the globe that includes some of the worst ever flooding in Brazil and a brutal Asian heat wave. Across the U.S., the entire week is looking stormy. The eastern U.S. and South are expected to get the brunt of bad weather through the rest of the week, including Indianapolis, Memphis, Nashville, St. Louis, and Cincinnati, cities where more than 21 million people live. It should be clear over the weekend, though. The bold and the bankrupt. The Darien Gap, it's both heartbreaking and infuriating because so many making the trip were lied to about the journey and America. Yeah. Yes, everybody in those storm paths, be safe. If you hear the sirens, look up, but not so far that you remove yourself from it. And back to more of this. Mother of Australian surfers were deleted in Mexico. Gives moving tribute to sons at a beach in San Diego, Mexico City. The mother of 2 Australian surfers that were killed in Mexico delivered a moving tribute to her sons Tuesday at a beach in San Diego. Our hearts are broken, and the world has become a darker place for us, Deborah Robinson said, fighting back tears. They were young men, enjoying the passions of their surfing together. Her sons Callum and Jake were allegedly killed by car thieves in Baja California across the border from San Diego. Somewhere around April 28th. I think they meant Baja, Mexico. I don't know why they would say Baja, California. Baja, Mexico, across the border from San Diego, California. Somewhere around April 28th or 29th. Robinson also mourned the American who was deleted with them, Jack Carter Road. The beachside location where she spoke across the border from... So is it Baja California and they were in Tijuana, or were they in Kio? I'm confused. Do you know that her son Callum considered the United States his second home. Robinson noted that her son Jake loved surfing so much that as a doctor, he liked to work in hospitals near the beach. Jake's passion was surfing, and it was no coincidence that many of his hospitals that he worked in were close to surfing beaches. Choking back tears, Robinson conveyed a final message that coincided with her son's adventurous lifestyle. Live brighter, shine brighter, and love harder in their memory, she said. Robinson thanked Australian officials and supporters there and in the United States. While she thanked the Mexico ambassador to Australia, she notably did not thank the local officials in Baja California, who eventually found the bodies of her sons in Carter Road. Their killers, they dumped the body of the men into a well about 4 miles away from where they had been attacked at a beachside campsite. Investigators were surprised when, underneath the bodies of 3 foreigners, a 4th body was found that had been there much longer, suggesting the gang had been working in the area for some time. The fact that such killers are not caught or stopped in the overwhelming majority of cases in Mexico suggests that authorities will allow killers to roam free and only investigate such disappearances when they are high-profile cases involving foreigners. And those are the same people that they want living here in the U.S. that because some orange man made some bad tweets. Some mean tweets. And said, watch out for these people. They're coming across the border. Do you think that they're going to stop doing what they did in Mexico, that they're going to bring it here? Robinson said her son's bodies or their ashes will eventually be taken back to Australia. It's time to bring them home to family and friends. And the ocean awaits in Australia. Prosecutors have identified 3 people as potential suspects, 2 of whom were caught in with methamphetamines. One of them, a woman, had one of the victim's cell phones when she was caught. Prosecutors said the 2 were being held pending drug charges but continued to be suspects of the killings. Third man was arrested on charges of a crime equivalent to kidnapping, but was before the bodies were found. It was unclear when or if he might ever even face charges. Third man was believed to have been directly participated in the deletings. In keeping with Mexico law, though, prosecutors only identified him by his first name, which was Jesus Geraldo, alias El Queques, a slang word that means quesadillas or cheese-filled tortillas. He had a criminal record that included drug dealing, vehicle theft, and domestic violence, and authorities said they were certain that more people were involved. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese told a radio station in the Robinsons' hometown of Perth in Western Australia state that every parent felt for the family's loss. I think the whole nation's heart goes out to the parents of Callum and Jake Robinson. It's every parent's worst nightmare to lose a son or a daughter. To lose these 2 brothers is just awful. And my deepest sympathies and condolences, and I'm sure the whole nation's with the parents and with the other family and friends of these 2 fine young Australians. Albanese told Perth Radio 6PR. Albanese said he was reminded of when his only child, Nathan Albanese, traveled last year at the age of 22 to a music festival in Spain. You do worry, but you think it's part of Australia's rite of passage, just traveling around with a backpack, meeting people, and it's how you grow as a person as well as you want to encourage them, Albanese said. I don't do a horrible Australian accent. In 2015, 2 Australian surfers, Adam Coleman, Dean Lucas, were killed in western Sinaloa across from the Gulf of California, also known as the Sea of Cortez, from the Baja Peninsula. Authorities said they were victims of highway bandits. 3 suspects were arrested in that case. Oh, yeah. California is a Mexican state. Okay, that makes sense. Timmy apologized if I made fun. Hope that everyone gets out. Yes, one of our factories in Kalamazoo, it's still standing, but there's no power. Probably be out for some time. Oof, no fun. We have more coming this evening. You had a tornado 5 miles from the house. We got drenched, but the wind was just to the south of you. Be very careful. Hey, hit that thumbs up. Yeah, you can hit it. You can slap it, spank it, hurt it, whatever. Probably got 4 inches of rain in the space of 90 minutes. That's a lot. Yeah, I agree. I think we need a coffee break. Just a really, really, really quick coffee break. That's what we need. Just something to fill the coffee cup back up, to make it much more enjoyable as we go about our wonderful day of this silliness. Let's give you guys a coffee break. Do it. But now I do. Now I know. Now I know. Oh my gosh. Let me close some of these tabs I've got up here. There's a couple of things that I wanted to show you guys this morning. Close this one, because that one I don't care about. One I don't. Well, we'll probably bring this up here in a bit. This one here. Oh, we'll talk about that one here shortly. And so we'll talk about that one there. So here's where we get back into some of the he does own it. Love for Himbo's big belly. You know, he does work out. Himbo drives it like he owns it. Mm-hmm. All right. More news about Trump. Just keeping up with the news. We'll see how they can twist this kind of garbage. The federal judge in Florida presiding over the classified document case. Oh, he canceled the May 20th trial date, postponing it indefinitely. Amazing. The order from the U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon had been expected in light of still unresolved issues in the case, and because Trump is currently on trial in a separate case in Manhattan, charging that, he was paying hush money. And we don't know, other than it says it involves several of the same lawyers representing him in this federal case. Cannon said in a 5-page order Tuesday that it would be imprudent to finalize a new trial date now, casting further doubt on federal prosecutors' ability to bring Trump to trial before November election. Of course, Trump faces dozens of felony accounts accusing him of illegally hoarding his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, documents that he declassified after he left the White House in 2021. And then, because the FBI wanted to get them, he said, go pound dirt. Well, they didn't like that at all, and so they got a search warrant, went through his wife's panty drawers, making sure that they documented everything very closely. Trump faces 4 criminal cases as he seeks to reclaim the White House, but outside of New York, it's not clear if any of the other will ever reach trial before the election because, well, they overextended themselves. They've made themselves look like complete fools and definitely idiots. And of course, the Supreme Court is weighing Trump's arguments that he is immune from federal prosecution. No, that's not what his arguments are. He's saying that it's illegal, the bullshit that they're attempting. That's the simple way of putting it, because the Supreme Court is weighing Trump's argument. It is a valid argument that you guys are breaking every single wrong. Yeah, blaming it on the judge's conservative background. In a separate case from special counsel Jack Smith, charging him with plotting to overturn the 2020 election. Oh. But we heard what was said on the phone. That's what they're charging him with, what he said on the phone. Like, if you listen to the unredacted thing, it doesn't point to anything. Now, once you listen, if you listen to what the news put out, it's one thing completely different. Prosecutors in Fulton County, Georgia, have also brought a separate case related to election subversion. Though it's not clear when that might ever reach trial, or if it even should. But, the 2 big stories that they have are basically the same story, just written by 2 different people. Isn't that wonderful? Interesting. And let's see. There was anything that was happening. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I was going to show that, but no, we're not going to show that. All right, here we go. We got to be fair. Show how wonderful one party is and how horrible the other one is. I'm blaming it on Judge conservative background. Yeah. Stay safe. It's supposed to be a nice day today in your neck of the woods so far. A beautiful sunny day. Will you definitely be careful? Just on. Good morning. It's so wonderful to see you. How are you and your wonderful husband doing today? I hope you're doing well. Good morning. Just on. The soul is Ginger. So President Joe Biden on Tuesday decried a ferocious surge in anti-Semitism on college campuses and around the globe in the months since Hamas attacked Israel and triggered a war in Gaza. Wow, Zeke, that was some pretty solid reporting. Instead of saying Israel's war in Gaza, because it is a war between the Palestinians and the Israelis, and, or should I say, Hamas and Israel. Using a ceremony to remember victims of the Holocaust, to also denounce new waves of violence and hateful rhetoric towards the Jews. Biden said that on October 7th, Hamas brought to life that hatred with the killing of more than, no, it was more than 1,400. Not 1,200. Mostly civilians, and warned that already people are beginning to forget who was responsible. Yes. Said anti-Semitism is coming from Biden supporters. Imagine that. Well, funny that, because of his hatred towards the Jews in the first place. But it's okay. I mean, you're welcome to hate people. You know, just like I don't like certain kinds of vegetables. Just because I don't like them doesn't mean that they're bad. I just don't like them. You can eat whatever vegetable you want to. The president used this to address his declarations of unwavering support for Israel in what his war against Hamas, even as his relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, I'm going to say it wrong, has grown increasingly strained over Israel's push to invade the southern Gaza city of Rafah, which would surely worsen the already dire humanitarian crisis for Palestinians. Senior administration official speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss the sensitive matter told the AP on Tuesday that the U.S. paused a shipment of bombs to Israel last week over concerns about Israel's decision on Rafah. Biden has struggled to balance his support for Israel since the attack by Hamas. No, it was not the deadliest day for Jews worldwide since the Holocaust, but that's what he said with his efforts to protect civilian life. See, this makes no sense. It's really hard to report on the truth of the news if you can't tell the truth. While acknowledging the ceremony was taking place during difficult times, Biden made no explicit reference to the deaths of the Palestinians since the attack by Hamas led Israel to declare war in Gaza. The tally from the Hamas-run health ministry includes militants, but also many civilians caught up in the fighting. Well, and use humans as shields. Just saying, these things happen. Oh, now he says his commitment to the safety of the Jewish people, the security of Israel, and its right to exist as independent Jewish state is ironclad even when we disagree, Biden said. We are at risk of people not knowing the truth, Biden said of the horrors of the Holocaust. When 6 million Jews were systematically killed by Nazi Germany and its collaborators, this hatred continues to live. Yeah, they forget that Ukraine was one of the collaborators. Hard to remember that, isn't it? This hatred continues to lie deep in the hearts of too many people in the world. Biden steered clear of talking about the election in his speech, but it played out in counterpoint to Donald Trump's criticism of the incumbent for not doing more to combat anti-Semitism. Trump has a long personal history of rhetoric that involves, no, that is not true. This is a lie. This is made up bullshit right there. He does not. Just because you say that that's the language of the Nazis, he has pointed out what Biden has been saying. Whenever he's speaking of that, he's talking about the things that Biden is saying and doing, his actions. And also it might be, that he's been supporting, the white supremacists for quite some time. Just pointing out, his ties to the some former KKK people. Biden's remarks on Capitol played out as the what is it? The diversify. We talked about it yesterday, where they want to basically destroy Israel. Protests, some of which had involved the killings of the Jews. They don't rock college campuses across the country. No, sorry. Nobody's rocked. No. It's amazing, all these little protesters. They type for president good. Yeah. It's really that simple. Yes, with the wrong stuff, I'm afraid. And you have a speechwriter write this for you because you don't believe this. And I don't believe that you believe this for a second. Not 75 years later, but 7.5 months later, and the people are already forgetting. They're already forgetting that Hamas unleashed this terror, and it was Hamas that brutalized the Israelis. It was Hamas that took and continues to hold hostages. I have not forgotten, nor have you. We will not forget. The only reason that you've changed your stance on this and made any sort of statement like this is because you saw that the protesters don't support you at all. And they're a small minority. It's a small group of college students and Antifa that don't support you. Never did. They're there for the riots. They're there for the free shit. They're really not Biden supporters, and they never were. They're more Bernie's supporters than they are Biden's. A chat, right? That knows how to spell. Waiting to see who breaks out first with "They're going to take me away." Ha ha. They're coming to take me away. Ha ha ho hee hee. So he's seen where they've run the polls. They've seen that he's lost support because of him not speaking out about what's going on in Israel or in the Middle East. So he knows, well, his pollsters know that he's losing his battleground states. And you'll see that people like Ilhan Omar and that sleeps with her brother, and Cortez and all these other people that are very pro-Palestinians will still support him. They'll still support Biden. It'll be weird, won't it? How are these people voting? Do you think they're going to vote along with Biden? But I was told by Jerry Shipmans Nadler that they were just an idea and a myth. Israel is at the point they will accept dead bodies for a ceasefire because they know they aren't alive. Yep. I'm out of autocorrect. Gets confused with Australian English. American English spelling is way different. Wow. It was 1966 release. The Capitol event hosted by the Holocaust Memorial Museum also featured remarks from House Speaker Mike Johnson, House Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries, which has said that he doesn't like the Jews anyway. Holocaust survivors, local youth, and elected officials took part in the remembrance ceremony, which included a recitation of the Jewish prayers for the dead. The campus protests have posed a political challenge for Biden, whose coalition has historically relied on younger voters, many of whom are critical of his political support for Israel. They weren't supporting you anyway. You weren't supporting it anyway. As you're about to find out. Just watch this week. Oh no, you broke Shizzy. Grabs bubble wrap, white straight jacket, and ducky tape. Break me. Biden said, of course, there's no place in capture America, no place for Americans, we're not long to civil society. There. Was that close enough to Biden? In conjunctivitis with Biden's speech, his administration was announcing new steps to combat anti-Semitism. Yes, we are going to send them to another place far away from here. If you can't see them, then there's no anti-Semitism. We're going to replace them with skilled laborers. That's what our plan is. Can't have anti-Semitism if you got skilled laborers in their place or something like that. The Department of Education Office of Civil Rights. What the hell is that? Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights was sending every school district and college in the nation a letter outlining examples of anti-Semitism and other hate that could lead to federal civil rights investigations. Okay. We made a pamphlet. Read our pamphlet. This is how you combat anti-Semitism. We don't put the gold stars on. No tattoos. Especially not numbers. So there's no anti-Semitism. We eliminate these to eliminate the anti-Semitism. No gold stars. No more Yehudi Jews. We get rid of all these. The Department of Homeland Security, another government entity, is asking for more funding so they can move to educate schools and community groups about resources and funding available to promote campus safety and address threats. Well, 54 watching, 46 live. Come on, people. Hey, Beans. Good to see you. And the State Department Special Envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism was meeting with technology companies on how to combat the rise in hateful conflict online. Well, here's a way to combat the hateful conflict online. Whenever somebody says something hateful that conflicts with your ideology, all you have to do is turn the channel. It's really easy. You don't like what I'm saying, you just reach up there and you go, oh, I'll watch something else. I'll look at something else. Not hard. If you find it hateful, crude, rude, horrible, disgusting, just change the channel. We're not here to influence anybody. We're just telling you a bunch of bullshit. Don't trust what I say. Don't trust what you hear. Don't trust the words coming out of my mouth. Don't believe a damn thing about me. Because it's probably not true, or it might be, or who really cares? On Monday, Doug Imhoff, the husband of Vice President Kamala. Oh, it's what? Wait, so Doug has a different name than Harris? Are they married? Oh, no, she kept her name. That shows some real respect right there, doesn't it? Let me think about that. You can't even keep the same name because, well, you do your thing, I'll do mine. I'm just tired of Republican leadership thinking that they need to be Democrat-like. Yes, I am with you 100%. With you 100%. That's your story. And you're sticking with it, huh? Huh? Is that what you're doing? The first Jewish spouse of a nationally elected American leader. Okay. The first Jewish spouse of a nationally elected leader. So he's a cuck. That's what they're saying. Got it. Met with Jewish college students at the White House about the administration's effort to combat anti-Semitism. He heard students describe their own experiences with hatred, including threats of violent and hate speech. That's what his office said. Okay. Trump's campaign on Monday released a video of Yom. I'm not even able to pronounce that name, and no offense. My Yiddish is not where it should be. Israel okay, that's the day, and it's Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day that aimed to contrast the 2024 presidential candidates' responses on anti-Semitism. Video shows images of Trump visiting Israel and speeches he has given pledging to stand with the Jewish people and confront anti-Semitism, while showing footage of the protests on campuses and clips of Biden responding to protesters upset with his administration's support for Israel and its war against Hamas. One of the clips shows Biden said, "Oh, they have a point," but it does not include the next sentence, which Biden said, "We need to get a lot more care into Gaza." Okay. It's funny. It's funny right here that AP would point that out. Yet whenever they don't point out the same thing that was said by Trump during Charleston, what he said about it. They don't put that in context, but they'll put things like this into context. Shows some bias in your news reporting, AP. Might want to get your head out of your ass, because so far, it is so far up there. We don't trust you. Biden campaign spokesman James Singer said in response, President Biden stands with against anti-Semitism and is committed to safety of the Jewish community and the security of Israel. Donald Trump does not. Yeah, Zeke, you suck. You started out good, ended weak. Stopped in, don't do politics, thumbs up. Good to see you, Jude. Glad to see you. See, that's how a person reacts. A proper person reacts. They say they don't do politics. They give a thumbs up, they hang out, and they leave because not everything is something that everyone's going to agree with. It's beautiful. Yeah, pew pews. I have a leftist coworker, and sadly, as intelligent as he was without question swallowed all the Operation Mockingbird coke. It was sad. Yes. Yes, it was sad. And that's where we're at. Myanmar's worst violence since the military takeover is intensifying the crisis. Oh, what's going on in Myanmar? Myanmar escalating conflict is worst violence since the military takeover in 2021 are having devastating impact on the human rights. You don't say. Fundamental freedoms and basic needs of millions of people as well, alarming spillover effects in the region. Assistant Secretary General for Political Affairs, and I'm not even going to try to say their name, it's going to be Key, told the United Nations Security Council that civilian toll keeps rising amid reports of indiscriminate bombing by Myanmar's armed forces and artillery shelling by various parties. The nation's armed conflict in Myanmar began after the army ousted the elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi February 21 and suppressed widespread nonviolent protests that sought the return to democratic rule. No, that is democratic rule. Once you learn that that's what democratic rule is, thousands of young people fled to jungles and mountains in remote border areas as a result of the military suppression and made common cause with ethnic guerrilla forces battle hardened by decades of combat with the army in pursuit of an autonomy. Just not want to be there. Despite the great advantage in the armaments and manpower, the military has been unable to quell the resistance movement over the past 5 months. The army has been routed in northern Shan State, in conceding swaths of territory in Rakhine State and in the west, and is under growing attack elsewhere. Myanmar's main pro-democracy resistance group said Thursday that its armed wing launched drone attacks on the airport and military headquarters in the capital of Nepal, I guess. But the ruling military said it destroyed the drones as it attacked. It wasn't possible to independently verify most details of the incident, but the military's acknowledgement that it had taken place in one of the country's most heavily guarded locations will be seen by many as the latest indication that it is losing the initiative. Kiki did not mention the attack, but said the National Unity Consultative Council formed after the 2021 military takeover to promote the return to democracy and comprised ethnic and political civil society resistance groups convened its Second People's Assembly on Thursday to further define their common vision for the future of Myanmar. He singled out the fighting between the Arakan and army and the military in Rakhine State. I don't know if I'm even saying these right. Myanmar's poorest, which he said has reached an unprecedented level of violence. Myanmar has become global epicenter for methamphetamine and opium production, along with the rapid expansion of global cyber scam operations, particularly in border areas. What began as a regional crime threat in Southeast Asia is now a rampant human trafficking and illicit trade crisis with global implications. You think? It says nearly 25% of Myanmar's population without enough food, stressing that children and pregnant women face malnutrition. Across Myanmar, the humanitarian community estimates some 18.6 million people will need humanitarian assistance in 2024, a 19-fold increase since February 2021. My heart breaks for them. But what do you want us to do? What did I do? Violence in Miramar. Wait a minute. I was told by Hollywood that Buddhists were totally peaceful and never engage in violence, almost as if what I'm being told isn't true. Miramar is human rights violations left and right. Where are you at, NATO? You have a very strong belief that Shizzy has something to do with it? More than likely. More than likely. Yeah. It does break. It does break. It does break whenever you do that. I gave up. I don't even try anymore to have serious thought with people that don't listen. It's a cult thing. See, this is what got me involved in going down the cult rabbit hole and discussing, different cults. Was like, how did they get to this point? How were people so easily duped to believe that there was faith healers that could lay hands upon you and you would be healed? How did people fall into it? Like, your faith isn't strong enough. If you're not healed, your faith isn't strong enough. Meanwhile, somebody who is there, mentally is able to control people really easily. And me, I don't want to have I don't want to have that kind of following, that kind of cult following. That's dangerous. It's scary dangerous. Speaking of cult followings, we have this right here. Activist says U.S. Congressman knocked cell phone from her hand as she asked about Jackson, Mississippi. U.S. Congressman from Mississippi knocked the cell phone out of the hand of an anti-war activist. Wait a second. I don't think they're an anti-war activist. They're just an anti-Israel activist. What happened to common sense? There is no common sense. We don't need it. Go visit Georgetown, Mount Vernon. It was plainly evident that George Washington couldn't wait to leave politics and be a businessman. Yeah. Battery. Yeah. So they call them an activist, an anti-war activist. No, if they were anti-war activists, they would be discussing not having wars in Ukraine. They would be discussing not having wars anywhere. They would be condemning it every single where. I don't think we should be sending any arms to Israel. I understand why we do, because we're allies with them. Don't agree with it, but we are allies with them. So an attack on Israel is an attack on one of our allies. That shouldn't stand. First-term Republican Mike Etzel was walking a hallway before a House committee meeting in Washington when two activists from anti-war group Code Pink is anti-war. Let me see what that's true. If that's true, Code Pink. Yeah. Women for Peace. That's what Code Pink is. So, well, let's see what issues in campaigns. Peace in Ukraine, stop the war in Ukraine, Russian troops out. No, see, there you go. That's asking for more war. China is not our enemy. Okay. This is what they're saying. So Code Pink, this is what they believe is. They believe need to have no war in Ukraine. I agree. But that's not our problem. So step away, back off. China's not our enemy. No, they are. They want America destroyed. Local peace economy. We live in a war economy that breeds racism, poverty, and ecological. See, now you're starting battles. Whenever you have people like this, they're starting battles. And these are all lies. Everything that you're reading about this little group right here, about all the wonderful things they think they're doing, is a lie. Yeah, that's what Code Pink is all about. A lie. So here's where she talks about this right here. And if I'm wondering if this is the same congressman that I saw elsewhere. Let me see if I can pull this one up, because it's I saw this the other day and I was like, what in the hell is going on with this person? It's so strange. If I could find it, because I was watching it the other day. Whenever I saw it, it's like, what in the hell is this? What the hell is this? I am positive that I saw this somewhere. Let me see if I've got it. Yeah, it is a battle right here. This is the battle. It is right here. There we go. Battle. Yep. I knew I had seen a war that was going on. It was major destruction. Oh, down they went. Gotta watch out, man. Gotta watch out for the battles. Oh my gosh. What was the one that I saw? I just saw it yesterday too. Let's see if I can find it again. It's here somewhere. It'll be in my timeline somewhere along the way. Ah, yeah, here it is. This is what I saw. Yeah, this is what Brian had to say. Yeah, I was snoozing, Deborah. This is it right here. This is the interaction.
Now that Hamas has agreed to a ceasefire.
They haven't. Basically, they said, please stop throwing rockets at us. We won't throw any more rockets at you until we throw them at you again, because we need to regroup.
Do you think Israel should agree?
I think Israel should go in there and kick the shit out of them.
I tend to agree. And I don't like war. I'm completely against it.
Just absolutely destroy them, their infrastructure, level anything that they touch.
Okay. He's got a pimp walk. Yep. He has a pimp walk.
Clear enough?
He's made it very clear where he stands. What about the rest of what he said? Oh, they cut that out. Congressman, the world is calling for a ceasefire.
Congressman, the world is calling for a ceasefire. You used to say Hamas won't.
And anybody in the world is wrong calling for a ceasefire. Because Hamas didn't call for a ceasefire. Just the world is calling for a ceasefire. Have a ceasefire. They should beat them like in Sunday morning. Probably. Arms on jacket pretty tight. Yeah, he's got to have a good upper body strength for not having legs.
Agree to a ceasefire. Hamas had just agreed.
Not true. They just said, stop kicking the shit out of us. That's all they agreed to. It was like, please stop kicking the shit out of us. We're losing here.
It was a proposal put forward by...
But it wasn't put forward by Hamas. It was put forward by Egypt, Qatar. Okay, we'll agree. They stop throwing shit at us. Use that pimp head. Hamas will never cease fire, and I agree with him exactly. And I don't like war at all.
Egypt, Qatar, CIA Director William Burns.
Oh, really? CIA? Why is the CIA there? What do they have to do with it? Oh, Hamas never agrees, or at least not without a hidden attack plan. Yep. Oh, it gets better.
Has been there negotiating.
You know what? If there's an American held or somebody else being held, there should be every expectation that Americans come and kill them as well. If there's an American being held, we should go kill the people that are holding them.
Why are you so hateful?
Why are you so hateful? Huh. Wasn't hateful. Said if we have Americans there, we need to have the Americans out. Egypt and Qatar do not want Palestinians at their borders coming in. Isn't that weird? Like, why not? Why not? Just like crazy. What's that, Cynthia? We sure not we have an answer to that question. How did yesterday go? Oh, sorry.
It's not hateful.
It is, because my people are Palestinian. You're
Really? Your people are Palestinian, really? You're killing my people with our tax dollars. Well, it seems to me that they're sending in humanitarian aid, and the militants are killing the people before they can get to the humanitarian aid, so they can use it for themselves. So, America's funding both sides of this. If you want the truth to be told.
killing my people with our tax dollars. And you saying that everything
should associate themselves with terrorists.
Ouch. Ouch. They shouldn't vote terrorists into office like Hamas. They shouldn't associate with terrorists. Go back to your people and report from the front lines. Yeah. Well, then I suggest she goes back and fights. She's never been there. Then the Jordanians expelled them to Lebanon. Yes. Go back to your people. Jinx, Jen.
They shouldn't vote terrorists into office like Hamas.
Israel is the terrorist.
You mean the majority of their shields are children. So what they're doing to make it seem like the Israelis are doing horrible things is they set up their rocket launchers in schools. So whenever they're firing rockets off and the US or the Israel strikes back at them to take out those particular buildings, they say, we are taking out that missile silo that you have at these coordinates. Make sure that you have people clear of this area. That's what they've been doing. But they don't remove them. They leave them in there thinking, well, if we leave them in there, it's going to look bad with bodies of children all over the place. That's what they want. That's the view that they want to give it. Schools and hospitals. Exactly. We keep saying to you, the majority are children. No, they're not. That's the appearance that they want to give.
Palestinian Islamic
Israel is the terrorist.
Martyrs Brigade, Lions Den, Fatah, all those terrorist
We
organizations.
say to you every single time, majority of people are children.
But you don't seem to care about the children whenever it comes to the discussing of abortion, do you? I mean, if you're worried about the children, you could just, instead of aborting the children, you just send them those over there. If you're that worried about the children, just saying, you don't care about children whenever it comes to other aspects, do you, Code Pink? Nope.
They're the ones that are bearing the brunt.
Just because you say it doesn't make it true.
Nice.
which is what you constantly. Let me say this very clearly. I literally don't believe a word that you say.
Nice, as you should. They hide in schools and housing dwellings of innocent women and children that are not a party to their terrorism. Yes. Why are you so hateful to most people? Why you people attack on October 7th in just a satchel of beans, ma'am? Hamas uses the people because they can claim that Israel is killing innocents. Exactly.
Well, I think that you are a heartless, soulless, cruel man.
Well, that's your opinion, and you can go pound dirt. Or how about I just tell you to get out of my face and I move on with my life?
And today is Holocaust
From you,
Remembrance Day
I'll
for
take that
my
as a
people,
compliment.
my people, Jewish people.
Really? Your people are Jewish people? Well, I don't think that the Jewish people there would really want to have you there supporting attacks on their country. Just saying.
And I am saying, as a Jew,
As a Jew.
never again, and it's happening now. We say
You are
never
so
again.
hateful and disgusting. It's a shame. You are a crime against humanity.
So that right there is supposedly the guy that slapped the phone out of her, the activist. If I'm not mistaken, says that Code Pink identified the second woman as Sumer Mubrik, who is a Palestinian. No, there is no Palestinian American. Just like there is no Israeli American, there's no Jewish American, there's no African American. No, if you have to use some sort of dash on your name, you know, the African American, white American, black American, green American, purple American, then you know something needs to go. Probably you. Go back to whence it is that you believe that you are supporting. I'm white. I'm natural born Native American, born and bred right here in the United States of America. No other country do I associate with. Shut up, knock it off. Ezel says as the video shows him extending a hand and knocking down the cell phone that was being used for recording. Did you guys see the cell phone being knocked down? I'm just asking. In that whole video, I can play it again. Did you see him knock down the video, the camera? There, I'll play it all over again. Tell me when he knocked down the camera, knocked down the phone. Show me when he knocked down the phone. At what point does he knock down the phone? Just watching here. At what point does he knock down the phone? Show me. AP, you reported it as truth, and I'm standing here watching. At what point does he raise a single hand and knock down a phone? You get to see it yourself. I'm watching. Have you seen it yet? I'm watching. I still haven't seen him knock down a phone yet. Nothing yet. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for him to knock down this phone. Oh. There was the whole interaction. Threat me too. I don't like his tone. I'm going to call it a day. Not all of us were able to sleep like Cynthia. Well, you have a wonderful day, Melanie Beeman. You have a wonderful day. I really love the proxy protesters. You don't have people over there. You just like using that as a virtual signaling. Yes, that is true. So, as I said, where did he knock down the phone? Shut up, knock it off. Ezekiel says as the video shows him extending a hand and knocking down the cell phone that was being used for recording. Where did you see it? I'm assuming this is the same person. So Mobrick said she filed a police report against Ezra alleging assault. Okay. As Ezekiel said in a statement, I will not be harassed or intimidated by the Chinese Communist Party, Hamas, or their supporters, and I will continue standing with our Israeli allies against terrorism. So I'm assuming that's, maybe it's this guy right here. I don't know. I mean, I'm just wondering. No, I guess it's a different guy. Okay, so a different person. But I'd like to see the video. Bye-bye now. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, we are going to end this on a good note. You guys have a wonderful day. Always have a wonderful day. Remember,
now I gotta call somebody to come get me because my car turned into a spaceship and I don't know how to fly it. I'm not an astronaut.